Hello, welcome back, my favorite coder cats and coder kittens. As usual, this is Becca, your coder kitty, going by Netcat or Netcat's Meow most places online, and I am here again to talk to you about Linden scripting language. So, some of you noticed that I wound up not having any videos out last week. I've actually been getting back in the swing of working, specifically driving for DoorDash. So I'm kind of getting the whole balancing act of everything back on track down. So, should be able to be back on track here. And I should be able to finish out this memory board. Just a quick review of what we've already done is it randomly places a series of pictures from its inventory. We've, in the previous videos, set it up to automatically place 2 of each image on this grid. It blanks them out. It is aware when it finds a match and when it does not. Right there says has found a match. And that's a small glitch, but not one that I have the time to address at the moment. There we go. So the other thing we wanted to do was be able to automatically set up turns to be taken. So that would involve having multiple people set on the board. So we'd have to have a system that determines when you start having people enter in to have the option of being a part of the game, and then be able to tally up points for them afterwards. So we're going to pop back into this script here. That is my cat saying hello. Hello, Lily. Hello. Give me a moment. She needs some attention. Sorry for that minor disruption, but Lily really needed some attention. So, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a thing that I've generally not used in these scripts before, and that is we're going to actually set a state. That way, all of the rest of the prep work we've done is completely unaffected by the additional work we're about to do. So, the only state you've so far been experiencing has been the default state. So, going ahead and bringing up the wiki for it. What I'm trying to remember was the command for switching between them, since I use it very rarely. There it is. Just state and on. Okay, that's what I needed. So, what we're going to do Alright, I've just basically taken all of everything we already had and moved it into a different state. State play. This indicates that the game is actually to be played. Since these are going to function innately differently, I'm going to show you a little thing first. We have fill picks, we have populate. So we're going to start this with state entry, owner say, fresh start, listen, 0, not listening for an object by name, not listening for a key by name, just looking for the word start. All right, just switch that to an open say. All right, it did say fresh start. Notice it does not respond to any of my clicking about. We could even go so far as to cut these and then drop them up here. Now it's going through and it's reassessing all of the pictures the way it normally would, but it completely does not respond to any of my clicking. It doesn't respond because all of the touch controls that trigger all of these other functions that made this work are all contained down here. And this is another example of why you create those separate functions up there, is we just had to move the function calls around. That's it. That's the only code that had to be moved in order to change these. So that actually made the act of adjusting this so much easier. But we now type start, starting game, and it functions normally, the same way that we are used to it functioning. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up something to change out people's turns if they do not find a match. And we're going to set it up to be able to have different people's turns. It would be really nice if I had another person here, but I don't, so that's going to have to... All we'll really be able to do is... And there's a way I can make it work. You'll see. So, under the main setting, we are going to have a clicking option, as well as multiple commands. So, actually, we don't need a separate command for that. What we need is actually, we do need a command for that. What we're going to give it is a command reset. And and we're going to make this command accessible in both versions. Because these are different states, this code does actually have to be repeated, because it won't acknowledge anything in here if it's in the state up here, and vice versa. So reset. Reset script. And now it will tell you, click the board to sign up for this round. Now, another command we're going to create is to show how the round is going. We're going to do that with a bit of floating text. And we're going to float the text right up here on top of the main object. So, to get that going, we go back to our handy little Google screen and use Lsl Set Text. I'm going to keep sending you back to look at the wiki, because it is invaluable to remember to look at it, to go back and review the specific syntax or arguments or whatever for a given thing there. So set text, string text, current players, /n, none, color, pure white, and alpha, we will set 0. And that was me forgetting that alpha setting is more like what degree of visibility as opposed to what degree of transparency. Or am I getting that backwards? Yep. Current players, none. Alpha is the degree of visibility, not the degree of transparency. My brain always trips over that one. So, /n, click to join game. Now we're going to create a integer I for I equals 0. I is less than or equal to get list length players. I equals I plus 1. Players show equals key to name list to key players I. So it just goes up the list from the first entry to the last entry. Actually, it doesn't even need to be equal, because the get list length starts counting at 1. The actual spaces in the list starts counting at 0. So less than or equal to would actually read 1 space more than there is in the list. That's just a case of the way human think and machine think do not align. Players show plus key to name. Then we're going to pull the set text. And actually, we add one more thing, plus /n. So this will basically take an empty list, players show, and In fact, you want to, I'm sorry, an empty string, player show, and you will add each of these different names to it with a line break after it. So, paste, current players, player show, click to join game, /n, or say we have it right there, start to begin. And in order to trigger this particular function, add detected key 0. That means it is going to add whatever key it detected on click, and I made one mistake here. Integer clicked, and up here it wants something else, syntax error. And I see the problem. I did key to name, had the close bracket here, or close parentheses, or sorry, open parentheses. I did not close that out there. And my problem here is, as much as it made sense to a human brain, quotation marks meant something in that line of code. And that was just a small typing error. There we go. That is resolved. Give that just a moment. There we go. Click the board to sign up for this round. I click the board. Alright, there's the problem is did not actually show the list properly converted. So the question is, why did that show up incorrectly? String players show. That's why. That was really silly of me. Plus, show plus, and because we automatically put a line break, I don't need an extra one. Players show. It shows that as a syntax error. That means I probably typed in something incorrectly. Let's go ahead and just copy paste the variable name. I put the quotation mark in the wrong spot. That was my mistake. I put it in front of the plus sign instead of after. Now it should work correctly. I do derp sometimes, especially when I've been a little run down. There we go. It lists me as the current player. So the next thing you're going to want to do is pop down here. So when it is a given person's turn, you're going to want to have it say who it is that's supposed to be interacting. So we're actually going to put that in a slightly different location because you can actually set link text. So you could do this a bunch of different ways. Key to name. Just for convenience, I'm actually just going to grab that whole chunk right there, which is going to be slightly different in here, but not different by much. Because we're just going to replace that with a 0 plus turn. Forgot the plus sign. There's a name not defined within scope. Probably means, yep, I capitalized it up here, but I didn't down there, so I'll just uncapitalize it there for convenience. There we go. When this is ready to go again, click it. Start. It is currently my turn. So, you're wondering, what are we going to do from here? Well, that is going to come back up here. Select chooser. Here we go. Sorry, that is not a match. All right. Now, after it discovers something is not a match, it will go ahead and change who is selected as for whose turn it is. The way it's going to do that is we're going to do a simple search for where in the list it is. So, list, find list. Of course, for that we have to know what player it is. We're also going to have to filter out whose key it is, so on and so forth. So, we're going to have to add one more variable, key current. So, back down on here. We can actually take that out and key to name current. We don't need the key to name here. We need current equals list to key players 0. There we go. Now we've established who the current player is. We can also, down in here, by the way, if detected key 0 does not equal current, instant message, sorry, it is not your turn yet. And then return. That will exit it out and won't respond to anything else. This will directly inform the person without disrupting anybody else that it is not their turn. So this right here automatically filters, is the detected key, the person who clicked it, does it equal current? Exclamation point equals does not equal current. So otherwise, it goes ahead and goes on. In fact, because we use detected key in a few places, we can even simplify this a touch more. If clicked does not equal current. So there we go. That's done. Now we come back up here to current. Here we go, chooser. List, find list. Here's one that I actually have to look back up to remember whether it is the object you're looking for or the thing you're looking in that's first. Source, test. Source, what to search in, haystack. Test, what to search for, needle. Perfect explanation. List, find list. List, source. Players. List, test. Has to be in form of a list. Current. If place is less than get list length players place equals place plus 1. The reason is because we're seeing if you can actually go 1 over, or move it up by 1. This would be get the next person in the list. If that is still less than get list length, which will always be 1 higher than the places you will use the number for, because get list length starts counting at 1 and the places start counting at 0. So if you had 3 entries, it would be 0, 1, and 2, but the list length would be 3. So 2 would be less than 3, so you could still use that as a valid place. It would be the third place in the list. If place is less than get list length players, then current equals list to key players place. Else current equals list to key players 0. So that automatically returns it to the front of the list, and then repeats the set text that will, we're going to change that to current. So that will automatically always loop you back to the correct person. And I forgot to put in who this is going to. Clicked. There we go. That was my mistake there. I forgot to designate the key that instant message was going to, because instant message is key, then message. So now what we have done is it will automatically loop through and tell you whose turn it is. If they find a match, their turn keeps going. If they don't find a match, then it automatically goes through, runs this little 5-line piece of code. It confirms where in the list the current player is. It bumps that place up by 1 so that it can check to see if the next place is available. If that place is available, then it sets the current player to the next one on the list. If it is not available, then it sets it to the beginning of the list. And then it sets the text to tell you who it is. Since I only have one of me, that's not going to make a very dramatic showing, but that is in fact how you do that. So there you have an actual turn-taking memory board. Nice little game you can create and host somewhere. So that will be it for this week. As I said before, I'm getting back into the swing of things with work and all the rest of that, so yay, thumbs up. I should be back on track for the most part, so I hope to have another video up for you next week. Until then, as usual, this has been Becca going by Nightcat or Nightcat's Meow most places online, and it has been my pleasure to be your coder kitty. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Until then, good day, good luck, good week, happy coding. Meow.